If you're an entrepreneur from a treaty country and you want to live and work in the United States, the E2 visa might be a single best option available to you right now. And here's why 2026 is a particularly interesting year to apply. The Trump administration just paused immigrant visa processing for 75 countries. And the E2 visa is a non-immigrant visa, which means it is not affected by that freeze, while other immigration pathways are getting harder, slower, or shut down entirely. The E2 remains open for business literally. But, as always, there is a catch. Immigration officers are applying stricter scrutiny to E2 applications in 2026. And the number one reason cases get denied has nothing to do with how much money you invest. Hi, I'm immigration attorney Julia Sverdloff, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through the entire process, show you what has changed this year, and at the end, I will tell you the single biggest mistake that gets E2 applications denied, even when the investment is strong. What makes the E2 special right now? The E2 Treaty Investor Visa lets you live and work in the United States by investing in and running your own business. Unlike the H-1B, there is no lottery. Unlike the EB-5, Investor Green Card, you do not need to invest $800,000 or more. And unlike most work visas, your spouse gets automatic work authorization in the U.S. without needing a separate employment authorization document. E2 visa issuance has been climbing steadily. Between 2020 and 2024, the number of E2 visas issued more than doubled, going from roughly 23,500 to over 55,000 per year. Over 80 countries have qualifying treaties with the United States. And as of March 2025, Portugal was added to the list, so Portuguese citizens can now also apply. The E2 is granted in 2-year increments with no maximum stay. You can renew indefinitely as long as your business is active, profitable, and meeting the requirements. It is not a green card, and it does not lead directly to one, but many investors use it as a stepping stone while they explore other pathways like EB-5 or EB-2 National Interest Waiver. Step 1. Confirm your eligibility. Before you spend any money, verify 2 things. First, you must be a citizen of a treaty country. Not all countries qualify. India and China, for example, do not have E2 treaties with US, but Japan, UK, Israel, France, Germany, South Korea, Canada, Turkey, Mexico, and dozens of others do. Always check the current Department of State list. It can change. If your country is not on the list, some investors obtain citizenship in a treaty country through a citizenship-by-investment program, commonly Turkey or Grenada. But under December 2022 consular guidance, CBI applicants may need to demonstrate at least 3 years of domicile in that country before applying, and that catches people off guard. Second, you must invest a substantial amount of capital in a real, active U.S. business. There's no fixed dollar minimum in the law. The standard is proportionality. Your investment must be substantial relative to the total cost of the business. In practice, most successful E2 applications in 2026 involve investments of $100,000 or more. Lower amounts can work for service businesses, but smaller investments face more scrutiny this year. Step 2. Plan and register your business. The strongest E2 applications start with a business that makes sense on paper and in reality. Immigration officers in 2026 are asking detailed questions about business plans. Generic or cookie-cutter plans get flagged immediately. Your business plan needs real market research specific to your location, detailed financial projections backed by actual data, a clear hiring plan, and a 5-year growth outlook. The business cannot be what USCIS calls marginal. It must generate significantly more than a minimal living for you and your family and demonstrate meaningful economic contribution within 5 years. Register your business with your state's Secretary of State office. Most E2 investors use an LLC or incorporation. And get your EIN from the IRS. If your business requires local permits, start that process early. Immigration officers want to see a business that is real, registered, and locally compliant. One of my clients from France wanted to open a wine bar. She used the location-specific market data, itemized every startup expense, and included letters of intent from local suppliers. Her E2 was approved because the plan was realistic, detailed, and clearly tied to her local market. Step 3 is invest your money the right way. And this is where applications succeed or fail. The money must be irrevocably committed to the business before you apply. That means it has been spent on real business expenses, not sitting in the bank account waiting for a visa approval. Open a U.S. business bank account for your company, then make real documented purchases. Sign a lease, buy equipment, pay deposits, hire staff if you can. Every dollar needs a paper trail. Receipts, contracts, invoices, wire transfers, and bank statements. If your investment involves purchasing an existing business, the purchase funds should be structured so the funds transfer to the seller upon visa approval. The agreement must be binding and comply with both federal requirements and applicable state contract law. You also need to prove the lawful source of every dollar. Immigration officers trace the money from origin to your U.S. business account. Tax returns, property sale records, inheritance documentation, or business income records from your home country. If you cannot show a clear, documented trail, your case will be denied regardless of the amount. Step 4, file your application. There are 2 ways to apply. If you're outside the United States, you apply through consular processing at the U.S. Embassy or consulate in your home country. You will file Form DS-160, the online non-immigrant visa application, and Form DS-156E, Treaty Investor Supplement. The filing fee is $315. If you are already in the United States on another valid visa status, you can file Form I-129, Petition for Non-Immigrant Worker, with USCIS to request a change of status to E2. The filing fee is $1,015. You could also request premium processing, which guarantees a decision within 15 business days. Processing times vary depending on the route. Consular processing typically takes 2 to 5 months, depending on the embassy. Some posts, especially in Canada, Mexico, and the UK, have heavier backlogs. USCIS change of status cases run 3 to 5 months on standard track. In 2026, most applicants have had better results going through their home country embassy when timing is flexible, because consular officers handle E2 cases regularly, and the turnaround can be faster. The 5th step is to prepare for your interview. If you apply through a consulate, you will have an in-person interview with a consular officer. This is the make or break it moment. The officer will ask about your business, your investment, why you chose your location, and how it will succeed. Be ready to explain your business plan in simple, confident terms. Know your projected revenue, hiring timeline, and first-year expenses from memory. Bring originals of every document you submitted and organize everything in a clear, logical order. Treat this like a high-stakes job interview, because this is exactly what it is. If your case is denied, it is usually fixable. Common reasons include a weak business plan, insufficient proof that funds are at risk, or unclear source of funds documentation. You can strengthen the application and reapply. After you arrive, what happens next? Once your E2 is approved, your obligations are just beginning. Register with your state's Department of Revenue if your business collects sales tax. Apply for all required local business licenses. Start hiring employees as promised in your business plan. File your federal and state tax returns on time every year. Every receipt, payroll record, and financial statement organized. When renewal time comes, your approval depends on showing that the business you described in your application is actually operating the way you said it would. The biggest mistake that gets E2 cases denied. Here's the part I promised. The number one reason E2 applications fall is not the investment amount, it's the marginal enterprise. The officer looks at your business plan and decides the business will never do more than provide a minimal living for you and your family. No meaningful job creation, no real economic impact, just a visa vehicle. The fix is straightforward. Show business with genuine growth potential, hire employees, include realistic projections showing profitability and expansion over 5 years. The more your business looks like a real enterprise and less likely like a lifestyle arrangement, the stronger your case. You just learned exactly how to get an E2 in 2026. If you follow these steps and keep your business thriving, you're in the best position for approval and long-term success. But here's some things you cannot afford to miss. Upcoming changes to family green cards. In my next video, marriage green cards, Trump ends waivers and revives wealth test. I break down what the latest policy twist means for your spouse, your family, and your future. If you're planning to bring loved ones to the US, you cannot afford to skip the update. If this helps you understand your case better, make sure you subscribe. I break down real immigration issues, real strategy, and what actually works, so you're not guessing with something this important. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.